to or anterior arch or lower edge of the cricoid cartilage is where you look for the entry point. The guidelines, German Association guidelines, suggest that meticulous non-skeletonizing vascularization preserving preparation of the recurrent divergent nerve reduces the risk of injury. It's a fundamental rule in thyroid surgeries. Visible anatomic course of RLN before and after thyroid gland resection should be documented. No structure is cut till RLN is identified. Bloodless field to be maintained. Wave-like profile, a vascular strip on the nerve can be seen. Plucking or palpation of the nerve is abundant. Complete dissection and demonstration does not lead to permanent palsies. So there are various approaches described: lateral, inferior, and superior approach. Lateral approach is routine thyroidectomy. Medial traction protects the parathyroid. Inferior approach is by Sedgwick and Lohr. It's usually used in the redo thyroid surgeries. Disadvantage is that there is a long segment of the nerve, parathyroid can be devascularized, and non-recurrent laryngeal nerve can be injured. Superior approach is at the entry point in large retrosternal goiters. It's the most constant point of the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Disadvantage is that it bleeds easily and recurrent laryngeum has more branches there. So while dissecting RLN, don't see, don't cut. If the nerve and a parathyroid compete for your surgical attention, nerve always wins. In pretracheal dissection, one must confine to anterior tracheal surface. Watch the nerve as you retract. Anterior arch of the cricoid is the best landmark for the nerve. No use of suction near the nerve. Use bipolar contrary only, and also with caution. SLN should also be visualized. Intraoperator nerve monitoring has various studies, especially by Rowley et al., the one which suggested that the transient injuries can be avoided while permanent injury remains the same irrespective of use of IONMA. So this is the nerve seen intraoperatively. 46-year-old male is undergoing anterior cervical dysfusion. Which of the following is correct with regard to recurrent laryngeal nerve? Left nerve loops around the subclavian artery is wrong. Right nerve loops around the inferior thyroid artery is wrong again. Right inferior laryngeal nerves non-recurrent 0.5 to 1% of the patients is right. RLNs innervate the true vocal cords, no. Medial branch of the RLN is primarily sensory, no motor. So SLN is first branch of vagus. Branches 4 centimeter cranial to carotid bifurcation from the vagus. 2 branches, internal and external. Sternothyrolaryngeal triangle or Joul's triangle forms the boundaries of identifying superior laryngeal nerve. Medially, it's formed by the inferior constrictor and the cricothyroid muscle. Laterally by the superior pole. Anteriorly by the sternothyroid muscle. SLN, there's a saying for SLN: I know where it should be and I avoid it, but I've never seen it. Usually is not identified, but is always preserved. The Cernia classification, type 1, 2A and 2B. 1 is where the nerve crosses superior thyroid vessels 1 or more centimeter above horizontal plane passing through the upper border of the superior thyroid pole. Type 2A, nerve crossing the vessels less than 1 centimeter above the aforementioned horizontal plane. Type 2B is nerve crossing below this plane. Type 2B is the highest risk of injury. Type 1 is the most common type. Turner's modification and Friedman's variants are the other classifications of superior laryngeal nerve. Friedman variant, more than 85% identification rate of EBSLN at the junction of the inferior constrictor and cricothyroid. 1.5 centimeter medial to inferior corner of thyroid cartilage serves as a landmark for superior laryngeal nerve. So Kerner modification has a type 4, which is extra, descends where SLN descends dorsal to the artery and crosses superior thyroid artery branches immediately above upper pole of the thyroid. So these are the Friedman variants where type 1 runs superficial to the inferior constrictor. Type 2 is lower part of the inferior, now penetrates the lower part of the inferior constrictor. And type 3 is runs deep to the inferior constrictor. Coming to physiology of the muscle, cricothyroid muscle has 2 bellies, pars recta and oblique. Cricothyroid muscle increases vocal cord length and tension. It is of central importance in the production of high frequency sounds. So Arnold called cricothyroid induced tension as external and thyroarytenoid induced as internal tension. So the surgical technique to preserve SLN is to ligate the branches of STA separately and as caudally as possible. Partial incision of the sternothyroid, reeve space dissection, that is the superior pole and the space between the superior pole and the cricothyroid muscle. And nerve monitoring can also be used. This is a recent classification for superior pole, where the nerve, the branches of the nerve, single branch of the nerve is close to the gland. There are multiple branches that are close to the gland, and the nerve and the branches of the artery are very close together in type 3. So there is a high risk of SLN injury in type 3 superior pole. So pyramidal shaped superior pole, type 2 is wider superior pole with a triangle shaped vascular pedicle. Type 3 is most complex of all. This type entails a wide superior pole with wide vascular pedicle, maximum damage of SLN. Coverings of thyroid gland, inner outer false capsule, inner false true capsule formed by the fibrostoma, outer false capsule by the pretracheal fascia, Space between true and false capsule has parathyroid glands, trunks of blood vessels, and venous plexus. When performing a thyroidectomy, which of the following anatomic considerations is incorrect? Middle thyroid vein drains into IJV. Inferior thyroid artery arises directly